Hi, friends. Back again.
Hey, Leo, I think we got a buyer for Diaz's merchandise. Gotta give him a ring, man. Set up the deal, you know?
Where are you now?
You okay, Leo? You sound kinda different.
Tell me where you are.
Who the hell is this? Put Leo on, man.
Leo's gone away for a while. He left me in charge.
Screw you, man.
Alright, so I figured I'd try to recreate some of the lost footage when I was doing one long playing session, and we kind of skipped over some missions. So this was about where we left off. I was just returning in the white Lamborghini to the hotel, and the phone I just picked up from the dude in the alley rung, and so I answered it, and I should have stolen the card. And let's see if we can get, oh, there's another one. That would have been nice too. And there's a million stingers going by. Yeah, no one ever said Tommy Rossetti was a polite pedestrian. There we go, sorry. Alright, so we gotta run back to the lawyer's place. This thing is really twitchy. Out of all the sports cars, it's one of the most twitchy. I'm not sure what kind of car that's supposed to be. Yeah, I haven't been to the wiki for GTA in a while, so I don't remember which car that's supposed to be imitating.
Oh, for God's sake, it's you. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna need new pants. Hey, those psychos from up north?
I just realized I was kind of thinking I would let that cutscene play out, because it's kind of funny how he says, we gotta do them a favor, and he says, do you mean I gotta do them a favor? And he's like, of course that's what I mean. Alright, so jury fury, you're supposed to intimidate a couple of jurors, I guess, into saying not guilty, of course. Vice City loves to give you convenient things here in the beginning of the game. Not entirely necessary, but alright. So the idea is that you can't hurt the two jurors, obviously. What you're supposed to do is mess up their cars, essentially. And it's suggested to do that with a hammer, but to me, that's just way too difficult for no reason. So, oh, actually, okay, I'm going to switch cars here. That's convenient. I don't really want to use a little sports car for this mission, because it's basically crash up derby kind of thing. And yeah, a sports car would just be a shame to do that. So the easiest way to complete these missions is just bang up their car. And I mean, you have to be careful that you don't glance off of the car and end up hitting them by accident, like that.
How you living, girl?
And oh, there's one other trick. If you really want to rack up a lot of hit points on the car you're trying to mess up quickly, just sideswipe it like that. That often does a lot of damage. Or I can just kind of sit there and grind on it for a minute. I know this looks boring and stuff, but eventually, usually seems a little easier than this. care what I do to this car because I'm just gonna. It'd help if I would do my directional controls correctly. It's really taking a lot of abuse here, isn't it? Okay. I'm not sure whose car that is.
Innocent until I say otherwise.
That was crazy. Okay, but it worked. Alright, so that's 1 out of 2. And I guess I could go and find where I parked my car, but I could also just take this one. The game really doesn't care. I mean, as most Vice City players know, the game has its limits, so when you leave a neighborhood, almost everything you did in that neighborhood resets back to the way it was. So stealing cars and all that, it's immediately forgotten by the game. Unless you rack up a big wanted level, and then you might have a little difficulty. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and trash this car. It doesn't really matter.
I can't believe this is happening. Not guilty. Understand? Good.
See what I mean? You bump into that car a few times and it says, that's enough. I grind on that other guy's car until we both explode, and then it finally decides that it's enough to meet the requirements. Oh, okay. Yeah. Those of you who've watched me play Vice City know that the Ferrari the equivalent of the Ferrari car is the one that I always choose if I have a choice. Alright. Okay, so we're going back to the lawyer's place for another mission. Obviously, I'm usually not that patient with traffic, so I kind of figure out whatever the short way is through it. Oh boy.
Hey, Tommy, it's Sonny. How's the suntan?
I ain't got no suntan.
We ain't got my money either, so I'm one of them myself. What are you doing? So tell me, what are you doing?
I'm looking for the money, Sonny. Don't worry.
I am worrying, Tommy. That's my style, because I didn't have this problem in my life with unreliable people. Don't be an unreliable person, Tommy, please. Do us both a favor. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
You know, I want to show a little funny thing about this game, considering it's a convenient time of night. And I can't really tell if it's working. Alright, let's turn around. Try again. It'd be a shame if the weather ruined it. But it started raining and I'm not seeing people walking around as much, so... Oh, there we go. And she ran away. Are we going to get a visit? I don't know. There we go.
Name, lady? You look as lonely as me.
You are real nice. I'll make you feel so good.
Here we go. Alright, so watch my money slowly disappearing at $1 per second. So you pull off somewhere quiet. I prefer somewhere with a nice view.
Thank you, Mr. Fish.
Now do you see what also is happening? The health gauge. It's counting up. Now it stops at 125. But if you move the car, the count starts over. Sometimes she still just gets out anyway. But I found it amusing that if you sit and count, the car rocks. If nothing happens to interrupt it or anything, the car rocks 37 times. And I've noticed that's a popular number for things having to do with humor. Obviously, if you've seen...
Get to the payphone next to the mall in Washington.
Yay! Got our first contract. Or maybe the second one. I can't remember. 37 was also in Clerks, if you know what I'm talking about.
Goes without saying. Tommy, any progress? No. Tell me later. Tommy, this is Avery Carrington. I believe you met at the party?
Not in person.
Howdy. Avery here has a proposition.
Haven't we got other things on our mind?
I'm trying to keep the wolves.
Okay. I'm going to keep this video from getting too crazy long, but I want to give you some brief looks at the cutscenes because that was where we picked up another contact. And that happens to be Burt Reynolds' character. And for this mission, you have to be dressed like one of the people that work at this place. So it's like a way to get in there incognito, quote unquote, which is hilarious in a mission where I'm immediately going to be starting trouble. But let's get it going. I'd probably be smart to stop somewhere and get some body armor too, but I'm gonna hope that I can complete this without that. Alright. So this one, if I can remember where it is, let's see. Which is the easiest way to get there? I think it's the other way. This way. There we go. So now, in this mission, there's like a certain number of people that you're supposed to start a fight with so that they'll open the gate and then you can get in there and take out the vans. But I find it much easier to drive in there, run over a bunch of people, drive away, because then they'll immediately follow you out here. And they'll even line up in a straight single file line. Sometimes running them down doesn't always work 100%. Oh, and now I have a 2-star. That's a bummer. Alright, well. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that because that's inconvenient. Over here's a police bribe. Now if I just kind of wander around for a second and mosey on back, then the other star will also disappear. So I'll just drive slowly. And try not to do anything illegal. And there it goes. Okay. So now, I shouldn't have too many more people to have to deal with. Oops. By the way, in Vice City, backing up is your friend. Backing up stops people from opening the door and ripping you out of the vehicle. Especially if you combine backing up and turning at the same time. Alright. So that's everybody. I mean, you really don't have to massacre everybody, but it makes this mission a lot easier. Because now, all you really have to do is take out these vans, which is very, very easy if you just park this one next to the other two. And stand far away.
I ain't a big mouth, no ball kind of guy.
And then blow up that little barrel. Alright, that's it. Okay. I think we should go to the next Avery mission. The first Avery mission is really cool. Now let me do a camera check first real quick. Alright. I think I actually have to stand in that. I can't drive in. Ah. Okay.
Hola, is this Mr.
Oh, yes.
Rossetti?
Yeah,
This is Cortez. You were at my party?
yeah, I remember.
Mr. Rossetti, it was a most unfortunate incident that happened with your business deal.
I know.
I want you to know me and my people are doing their utmost to get to the bottom of it. If you'd like to talk to me more privately, you can find me at the box stand. Okay? Good day, senor.
Spandex. Yeah, this is a great mission. It's really fun.
Come in and park yourself on the hide, son. Hell, my daddy used to say, never look a gift horse in the mouth. And by golly, he never did. Would you like a drop of the old Kentucky?
No thanks.
A clean thinker. I like that. Now, the property business is...
So yeah. In Vice City, business usually means you gotta influence people in ways that are not 100% within legal business dealings. And a lot of those influencing missions have to be done because those people are corrupt to begin with, so I don't know. I don't feel quite as bad in this world.
Is this me?
Nice ass, baby.
So yet again, proper attire is important for this mission.
Don't you wear that thing.
Excuse me. Sorry. Because we have to go to the golf course. Okay. Now, you might notice that in this mission you can't leaf links. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it says leaf links. Okay. But when you walk through this, obviously, in this game, when you walk through a metal detector, all your weapons get left behind. Which is okay. You really don't need weapons for this mission necessarily. Oops. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting radio stations. Whoa. Yeah, you might notice that the golf caddy is very bottom heavy, so it likes to right itself pretty easily. Now, the dilemma here is you just need to take out that one guy, but he has a lot of security. And what you don't want is to get occupied with dealing with security while he jumps in a golf cart and just drives away. That makes this mission very tedious. So, what you do is you take away his golf carts, because there's a convenient pond right there. And yes, I know I could probably very easily just drive these instead of ramming them, but what fun is that? It's fun to ram them. And these golf carts really don't show damage in the same way that gas-powered vehicles do in this game. Sometimes if you want to be a little bit sneaky, if you position one of these golf carts in a place where it's almost impossible to drive away safely, the target you're going after will still try to get in it and drive away, and then he'll just go in the water. I find it a little more satisfying to actually run him over with the golf cart. Yeah, see, that slope is too steep now, so the likelihood that you would be able to drive away is pretty low. Oh, I blew it. Well, it happens to the best of us. Honestly, that doesn't lose much for me. I had one weapon. This is one of the fun houses to own when you eventually get to where you can buy property. But, yeah, one weapon and a little bit of extra health from that session with a Lady of the Night. Yeah, sorry, I would love to listen to Bark at the Moon right now, but I don't want to get a strike by YouTube. Alright, moving on. I'll do my best not to screw up the next attempt. That is one thing about this game. If you mess up a mission, oops. If you mess up a mission, you just do it again. But it's a little bit tedious to have to keep repeating the driving around part of this. Obviously the cutscene doesn't recognize that it's nighttime. Quite certain it was midnight.
Come in and
Now it's 10 a.m. Can you believe that? wonder why the textures are... Oh, and there's the Porsche that wasn't there the last 3 times I've tried this. Okay. See that before. My gun is still there. Excuse me. You're all in my way. Are you kidding me?
Are you late for tea off too?
I think I'm stuck. How crazy. Wow. I had to get in a fight to get through. Now I'm going to have to actually use this health. I almost never need that. That's crazy. I better hurry before they catch up to me. Alright. Okay. So I should say one of the reasons why I try not to drive this over the edge is it's incredibly easy. These golf carts, once you get over the edge, it just keeps going, and you try to bail out, and it won't let you bail out. Plus it's very satisfying to knock them down into the water and then you hear that big splash. Alright, that one's stuck. I'm gonna have to do this one. Yes, kitty. Okay, now I'll try to bail out. Just push this thing. Whoa, there we go. Did that work? I guess it's so close to the water we'll find out. Okay, now, as soon as I go take this guy's golf cart, that's when all hell's gonna break loose. So here we go. I'm already trying to back up.
Who is this guy? Boys, deal with it.
Get him! Do that, psycho!
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not quite what I hoped to happen, but... Well, there you are. See, that's the thing. Oh, they're still angry with me. How about that? Alright, well.
Here, find you.
Okay. They're just gonna hold a grudge on this one, aren't they? Well, that's a problem. Alright, well, it saves me the trouble of having to make my way back to Avery's place. Moving on. I'm gonna take this car.
What you doing?